How you doing, BFA? Thanks for coming in. I figured nobody was live. Hoglet goes live at 2 a.m. Eastern. Might as well go live for a little while. How was your Sunday? Oh, nice. Yeah, it's windy up here too. Didn't do no fishing at all. Stayed at the house. How you doing, Amanda? Thanks for coming in. Oh, I'm doing all right. Just a little bored. Nobody else live, so figured kill some time before Hogleg goes live at the Boar's Nest at 2 a.m. Eastern. Polar Bear, just messing around with the new stuff they got on StreamYard. How you doing, Dale? Thanks for coming in. You doing any fishing today, Polar Bear? Hey, Eileen. Thanks for coming in. Two 252. How you doing? Thanks for coming in. Didn't rain here, but it was real windy today. Didn't get nothing today, huh? At least you was out fishing, 252. Hey, Dink. Thanks for coming in, buddy. Anybody have plans for fishing during the week? Or has everybody got to work? Down east. What's up, Polar Bear? How you
What's
doing?
going on, Lance? I'm doing all right. Just hanging in there.
I figure nobody was live. Go live for a little bit before
Yeah.
Dogleg goes live. Yeah, it's gonna be cold up here too, Dink. Hopefully next weekend we can get out again. Be in a different location. Thanks for coming in, down east.
Sorry, I hit the wrong button.
Yeah, that happened. I kicked
So,
myself out of my own live before.
right?
So no fishing, huh?
No, it's been raining here uh, all day, off and on. Plus, my sister was using my truck this weekend.
Uh,
So
yeah,
I keep all my stuff usually in the truck. So,
yeah. Some of the best fishing I had last year was during the rain too.
oh, I don't have a problem so much fishing in the rain, except for it's probably not quite warm enough yet for me for rain.
Yeah, same like up here. I think we got to 37 today.
We got to like 60, but you know how rain is.
Yeah.
60 degrees rain, it's still pretty chilly. No, I think Jody just went live also.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, seems like everybody's bored.
Right?
Yeah, I seen that down east. That'll work, man. I'll be able to put them to use.
Did you catch anything on your live the other day?
No, we had a couple bites. That was it. And
Yeah.
surprisingly, it was on the Jules catfish bait. But
Well,
a buddy of mine, he went down to Port Washington and he caught two trout. He got
nice.
lucky down there.
Yeah, I don't know what the weather's supposed to be like this week, but I might try to go after some carp this week if I get a chance to go out.
Yeah. Yeah, carp are good fun.
Oh yeah.
I actually do this year. I want to try and target just carp, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, there's so many different ways to go about carp fishing.
Yeah.
And I I try to like I've only done it like twice last year. That was the first carp that I ever caught. And that was right before a rainstorm hit, so I caught that and got my butt out of there.
Yeah, this year, man, we're gonna try and uh hit the Mississippi River and everything. Do a
Nice.
little do a little more traveling around the state.
I was gonna say you guys are planning on going to Mendota, aren't
Yeah. Plan on
you?
going to Mendota. Uh if that doesn't pan out, we'll see how the Pier, Wisconsin, up there, Green Bay area. See how the river is up there.
Now, do
But
you guys ice fish around where you're at?
yeah,
Well, I know there's certain levels where, like here in Ohio, people ice fish, but not so much in my area.
oh yeah, they ice fish all over.
Yeah,
Uh, we didn't do it this year because we ain't got the ice fishing gear, but supposed to be getting some from Don R.
yeah,
To see how that goes. And the only other thing is trying to figure out, with the gas prices the way they are,
yeah.
see how we can get it down here. Hey, Wabash Nate, John Holiday, thanks for coming in. So,
Hello
what's your
there.
plans this year?
I think once it warms up, I'm pretty sure here in Ohio you can get a Master Angler Award if you get three citations, or we call them Fisher Ohio's here.
Okay.
If you get three different species in one calendar year, you can get a Master Angler Award.
Oh, nice.
And most of the channel cats that we catch out of the farm pond are all over the citation limit.
Wow.
And then there's crappie in there that I'm pretty sure is over the citation limit, and bluegill also.
Oh, nice.
So I think that's something that I'm gonna try for,
That'll be,
especially once it warms up just a little bit more.
yeah. Yeah, it's the only thing for us people up north. We gotta wait for that water to warm up.
Yeah, I mean, granted we're out fishing now, but the bite's usually slow in cold water.
Yeah. I mean, that was strange the other night, Friday, when we went for burbot. That should have been perfect conditions, but who knows?
Mm,
How you doing, Stan?
no matter what, you got to be at the right place at the right time.
Yep. And it seems like uh, Port Washington, which is where we did a lot of the burbot fishing this year.
Yeah.
Seems like that's the hot spot right now for trout.
Yeah,
Been
that's
watching
probably
a lot
because
of guys.
it has that warm water inlet, right?
Yep, it has the power plant there,
Yeah.
so they discharge a lot of warm water. So this next weekend we're going to try there if everything goes as planned, and we'll actually probably be fishing with Alan Frashada
Okay.
because he's up here in Wisconsin too. He's one of the guys that follow the catfish community.
Yeah, I've seen the name around. I mean, I know he doesn't chat all the time, but
Yeah.
I've seen the name around.
How you doing, Andy A? Thanks for coming in.
So, how's that? Is that one kid still interested in fishing with you?
Yeah, his thing is he's got a job too now.
Oh yeah, weekends are going to be tough for him
Yeah,
because that's usually when most of the teenagers have to work.
yeah. And I was surprised he's got a job because he's only 14.
Yeah. Well, there's I don't know how Wisconsin is, but here in Ohio, there's technically if you're family, you can hire at 14. It's weird. Like, yeah, my nephew ended up started working when he was 14 at a restaurant because they said he was family, but
Yeah,
he's 18 now and he's actually starting a second job and trying to finish up high school, figure out what his college plans are.
right.
And he has no interest in being outside at all.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
a lot of kids are like that nowadays. Man, growing up in Hawaii, we was always at the beach if we wasn't doing something else outside.
Oh yeah, I mean that we grew up with like if it wasn't raining or snowing, well, didn't really matter, but if it wasn't raining outside, we were out doing something, you know. We had to be home by the street lights.
Right. Yep, that's how it was for us.
And if we couldn't get home by the time the street lights, we better be calling someone.
Yep, exactly. Oh man. So did you get any new gear for this year?
Yeah, I got some stuff from Down East Tackle.
Oh, nice.
I got some r- rigs that hopefully will last me a while. Um, I won that Whisker Seekers 38-inch carp or catfish and carp rod from John Parker,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and I paired that up with a PC Fun Torrent, which is actually a bass reel, but I figured with the lighter rod, I'll probably be casting lighter weights and stuff, so
Right.
probably don't need the big reel.
Yeah. Oh, that ought to be fun, man. Catch a nice channel cat on that.
Yeah, I want to catch a channel cat on it, and I want to catch a carp on it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it'll handle both. So
Oh, I'm sure. Well, I know River Certified uses them. and catches
Right.
flatheads. So
Yeah. Oh
I'm
yeah.
sure I'm sure it'll easily handle it, but I think it'll just be fun.
Yep.
And then because like where I fish at the pond, most of the time I don't have to cast more than 10 yards out really.
Right.
So I don't see it being a big problem there.
Yeah.
And then as far as the carp fishing goes, where I've been, it's same way. I'm not probably more than 10 yards off the bank in the area because I was throwing corn in to get them to come up, and I just put my bait right in the middle of that corn.
Right.
So
Now, do you got the actual rigs for carp fishing, like the hair rigs and stuff?
nope. What I used is a 1/0 circle hook.
All right. Yeah.
Put like 4 or 5 pieces of corn on there,
Mm-hmm.
and it worked perfect. Like because it caught them in the lip, and it didn't swallow it, and it was easy to get out, and there wasn't much blood or anything.
Right. Yeah, I like the one. I use all different size hooks, but
Yeah, I do too, but I 1/0 for the play. Like if I'm fishing at the pond, the bluegill
yeah,
are big enough to still bite on the 1/0
you got some
and
big
still be
bluegill
able to
in
hook up to them on a regular basis. Obviously bass 1/0's a great, you know, size
there.
for bass. Catfish. I think we've bent a couple hooks catching some of the catfish on 1/0, but it still works good
Yeah. Right.
because
Oh
it
yeah.
usually catches them right in the corner of the mouth, and
I
you know,
know. My biggest channel cat I've caught up here at what was it, 15.9 pounds. I caught that on a 1/0 Gamagatsu.
yep, I yep, I can't say anything bad about the 1/0. Like if people want an all around hook that can catch probably multiple species, it's probably one of the better sizes.
Yeah.
Maybe
Now,
two
how
aught.
big are your bluegill in that pond?
We didn't catch one last year under 7.5 inches.
Oh, nice.
So
So about hand size or a
at
little
least hand
smaller.
size. Yeah, I mean we caught some probably upwards towards like 9.5, 10 inches. And the green sunfish in there are the same size.
Right.
So and I mean every once in a while I'll cut one up for bait for the channel cats or whatever. But we've
Okay.
had more luck on chicken.
Just plain chicken?
Yeah, sometimes we'll add like garlic salt to it or something. But
Yeah.
for the most part, just plain chicken works, and it'll catch the bluegill, the bass, the crappie. So that's another reason why we usually use the 1/0 hooks.
Okay.
That way, it's not overboard. Like sometimes, like if I know that I'm going to use like cut bait or something, usually I'll do like a 7/0 hook or something.
Yeah. How you doing, Lynn? Thanks for coming in. Yeah. This year we're gonna try and we're gonna try fishing the Wisconsin River too. That's actually the river the state record channel cat was caught out of.
Oh wow,
Man, that was back in the early '60s. So That record's been around for a while.
Well, I mean, I know that obviously Wisconsin has big channel cats, point
Yeah,
blank.
yeah.
Does it have a big flathead population also?
It's actually pretty decent from all the research we've done. Uh, they are there's quite a bit. How you doing, Hogleg?
Because I know Minnesota has a season on flathead fishing.
Now, see, that's the thing. I actually asked Epic months ago about it because I knew he's been around all over.
Yeah.
And up here, where we usually go fishing for catfish in the Fox River up in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, they do have a season for the flathead.
Yeah.
And they started that, I guess, to try and get the population numbers up.
Well, yeah, it stopped people from fishing during the breeding season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, from what I understand, they've caught some nice flathead. I mean, Alan Pershada and his buddy about 20, it's been 21 years. He sent me a picture. His buddy caught a 40, what was it, a 42-inch flathead on 4 pound test
Oh wow, I couldn't
in
imagine that.
Wisconsin. It's like, man,
You know, using light line in that would probably be fun to catch something big.
yeah,
But the problem of it is like snags and stuff.
yeah,
Last year I was using a Zebco pole, or the Zebco 33, and I was catfishing there at the
hmm,
pond where I normally do. And
right,
the trees overhang the stuff, so obviously I couldn't horse the fish in. He hit one of those
yeah,
branches and it was like ding. I was like, man, that's it. I threw the pole actually.
right,
And I ended up getting just going with my 20-pound Andy monster on a rod.
yeah.
But
I use the Whisker Seeker. I switched over from Slime Line.
yeah, they're all it's kind of like fishing rods, man. They're all pretty equivalent. You just got to find what suits you.
Yeah. The reason I went with I'm going with the Whisker Seeker. One, it was cheaper, and I went up 10 pound on the line, and it's the same diameter as
Yeah, the slime line.
the Slime Line 20.
Yeah, well, that's
So,
what I said. You just got to find what suits your need.
right.
Because I'll tell you what, that the 20-pound test line that I have is a lot stronger than 20 pounds.
Oh yeah.
Like, like trying to break a rig out, like if you get snagged, you might as well just cut the line
Wow. And
because it ain't
what line did you say you use?
the Andy Monster 20-pound. They sell them in like the half spools and the full,
Right.
it's saltwater grade basically, as far as I know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I used to use Andes in growing up in Hawaii
Yeah.
because that's what we was told to use.
Well,
So
I mean, I get it. A lot of people use the Berkeley big game because it's decent line and it's cheap.
yeah.
And But Epic has always said, as far as any gear goes, start at what is contacting the fish first.
Yeah.
And that's your hook, your line, your rod, and then your reel.
Yeah, I use well, of course, I'm sponsored by Down East, so I got
Yeah.
his rigs. I'll be using those. I'll be using my rigs too,
Yeah.
and I use the Berkeley Trilene Big Cat 40-pound test.
Yeah. Well, that's for your leaders, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying his line in general, like when they use it on their reel.
Oh yeah.
I know it's cheap, but it, and like it collects memory pretty quick, in my opinion,
Yeah, it does.
on the reel. I mean,
Yeah.
as far as leader line, it doesn't matter because you're really not creating that loop in it,
Mhm.
unless you're using a 6 foot leader or something. But you know, most people don't use that big of a leader
Right.
unless they're dragging baits in Ohio, because in Ohio, like unless you're on the Ohio River or Lake Erie, you're only allowed 2 rods, and you have 3 hooks per line.
Wow.
So, like Muskrat uses a lot of times when he's fishing the Hoover Reservoir or some of the other state parks or whatever, he's using 6 foot leaders with 3 hooks spread out on that leader.
Oh, okay. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah,
Now, see, that's the only thing I change up when I'm when we go salmon fishing.
yeah,
We use anything from 3 foot to 6 foot for
okay,
our leaders, but it's still a Santee it's either a Santee rig or a Carolina rig,
yeah,
unless you go down to Port Washington. We use the slip bobber with like a 1 or 2 ounce egg sinker on it,
okay,
and then we loosen the drag. We loosen our drag pretty much all almost where you can easily just pull it by hand, and
yeah.
you ain't gotta pull real hard. So you just wait for your bobber to go down, and man, when the bite is hot down there, we've had like 3 or 4 bobbers go disappear at once.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy when they're in that harbor, in that marina, they just go, man, they just go crazy.
So, like growing up, well, I shouldn't say growing up, but like once my grandfather quit boat fishing, because we used to have a 12 foot John boat, well, V bottom, but 12
Uh,
foot boat that we used to fish at where our camper was at. And once he quit boat fishing, he started using the big slip bobbers, not small ones, but the ones you'd use for catfish and that, and put a
right.
1/2 ounce weight on there and bluegill fish.
Wow.
It was hilarious, but he did it that way he could cast, get the distance he needed to get out to the
Right.
channel and that stuff for the bluegill.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we never really catfished there. I think we've caught a couple out of that pond, but I knew that they were in there. because we'd be fishing in the morning and it'd look like sharks with the fins sticking out of the top of the water if we were there in the early morning when the sun would be coming up.
Right. Yeah.
But
I know this year for pan fishing, I got a bunch of pan fishing rods, but I think I'm gonna take out uh the two cane poles I got. I'm gonna do pan fishing the old school way.
nice.
I'm gonna put some 6 pound tests, maybe even 4 pound. I know I got 4 pound around here somewhere. I'll use that. I'll put that on the cane poles and just the bobber. Just an old school red and white bobber, man, with a worm,
Yep. I mean,
and
that's
do it
just
that
it.
way.
People, I think sometimes people get too wrapped up into the whole gear situation
Yeah,
when sometimes it can be, like you said, just as simple as putting the red and white bobber on a cane pole or whatever.
yeah.
I mean, really, if they're on their beds or whatever, you don't even need the bobber.
Nope, you
You
really
know?
don't. I've done it where I just put two or three of the biggest split shots I have, man, and I know where they're at during the
Yep.
spring. Early spring, they come up into the grass in the shallows, so I fish right off the boat dock.
Yep.
And I've outfished guys that come in there with their high dollar boats and all their fish finders. They come back. I ask them how they did. They're like, man, we didn't catch nothing. Fish weren't biting. We seen them on the fish finder. It's like, how you do? I pull up a stringer. Like, how'd you do that? Easy. Cast into the shallows here.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I've never used a fish finder to fish. I mean,
Yeah,
I wouldn't know the first thing. Like, most of mine comes just from, like, knowing that most fish hold structure or of
right,
some sort. No matter if it's bass or bluegill, crappie, or, usually there's open water is usually not the best thing.
right.
Not saying you can't catch anything there, but you're just not going to catch numbers.
Yeah. I started fishing boat docks more. I read an article somewhere, and this guy said him and his son went out in their boat and they went all over the lake. Well, they started noticing when they came up on they was coming back in, they was right there by the boat ramp,
Mm-hmm.
and they looked at the fish finder and they seen all the bluegill, like just the beds all over the boat dock area by the boat ramp.
Yeah.
And they was like, oh, what the heck? They threw out some lines and man, they hit their limit. They stayed right there because he said it wasn't a busy day. They had the time and they tore up the bluegill right on the boat ramp.
Yep. Sometimes you don't have to go far.
Right. How you doing,
Well,
Doug?
I mean that goes back to like the farm pond that I've fished right now.
Yeah.
Most times, I I'm like even when I'm fishing the shallow end of there's an island out there, and I'm usually only fishing like 2 or 3 feet off that island. Because there's a transition point there. Like it was the guy obviously took all the gravel out of the pond. I mean, he dredged
Right.
it first before he built it. But so there's a couple big rock structures in the pond, and there's a point in between. There's a big rock I mean, like boulder, and then you've got like a 10-foot area, and then you've got the island. Then it goes into the real shallow part. So those fish are coming through there to get to the shallow end. So I
Right.
fish that a lot.
How you
What's going
doing, Nate?
on, Nate?
How
How
we
you
doing,
doing,
Lance?
Kelly, Duggar? Doing all right, man.
How you doing, Polar?
Good. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Was able to get fishing this weekend, but didn't catch nothing.
Yeah, that seems
Still
like
no out.
it's that time of the year, man. Seems like it's a transition period from winter to spring.
Yeah, and the river's still a little high, so
Yeah. How you doing, Bug Man? It'll get there. Everybody will be catching fish. Did you have, you went out today, right, Nate?
oh no, I went out yesterday.
Okay. Did you get any bites at least?
A few little nibbles, nothing major. I had to hit up ponds, so a few ponds around where I live, and obviously the water's still chilly, so
Yeah. Yeah, up here, I don't know. It's cold as can be. I gotta get a thermometer so I can check the water temperature.
yeah, the lake that's literally 2 minutes from my house, it still has ice on it. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's crazy.
I mean, the river, the river right here in our town, Sheboygan River, it still has ice, but like where we was fishing Friday, that's the Sheboygan River. We had open water, and I think that has to do with the wind direction that we was having all week. It was
yeah,
pushing the ice out, and then it pushed the ice out into the lake, and then it was keeping the ice upriver. And the conditions we had Friday should have been good for burbot, but they just wasn't there.
yeah. That's how it goes. I
Yeah,
mean, I watched you for about an hour or two.
but I don't get, you know how some people get disappointed when they don't catch fish every time they go out, but part of fishing.
Yep.
How you doing, Eric B? Steve Locke?
Me, I just like getting out and just relaxing and having fun,
Yeah.
enjoying the weather, basically, or enjoying nature.
Yep. Because
I think
I
that's the
sure,
biggest thing. Like I enjoyed so much being out this last year.
yeah. Because I can tell you Friday, I didn't enjoy the temperature at all. And as soon as we cut that heater off, because we had the heater going. As soon as we cut that off, my hands were ice froze. They were frozen. They were
I
ice
bet.
cold.
Yeah, I can understand that.
But that comes with the fishing up here.
When do you guys normally start like warming up, Lance?
Ah, well, supposedly the middle of the month we're supposed to be steadily in the 40s. About April, about May or so. April, May.
So like June's probably some of your prime fishing month then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. See, like late April, May is like prime for where I live. You start getting into June and July,
Goes
that's
into
usually
the
when it
summer
starts getting
months.
brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it varies. Like last year, well, not last year, the year before, April. Usually I do good in April with pan fishing.
Yeah.
A couple years ago though, man, April was bad. It was still cold, way too cold. Fish were staying out deep, and yeah, there were no panfish in the shallows until like the end of April.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. So this year we're gonna try it again. See what the end of April brings.
Yeah.
Hopefully April I'll be able to catch some channel cat. See an Avid's tournament April 9th and 10th.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I got
probably early for you as far as bite wise, I'd imagine.
yeah, I gotta go back and look at my notes because I'm trying to do what River Certified does, take notes here and there when I go fishing. And
Yeah.
last year I hit, I don't know what it was, but I hit prime time shovel nose sturgeon.
Oh
Wow.
wow.
I caught, I mean, I probably caught 20 shovel nose sturgeon. I mean, they only get about, 24 inches, but holy heck, are they fun to catch.
Oh, I bet. Hey, Brandon. Thanks for coming in.
I mean, it shocked me because I had circle hooks and just worms and cut bait, and all of a sudden I hear something jump, and there's a rod. I mean, they're just fun to catch. I love them. We only have pretty much, I pretty much shovel nose is sturgeon is the only sturgeon we really catch, but
Okay.
they're not endangered here. So
Yeah.
I've caught a few that were tagged by DNR, but Indiana DNR sucks at trying to, track fish.
Right.
So their website is horrible. But yeah, I caught like I told a buddy of mine, I'm like, man, I've never, I've only caught like two two sturgeon, and then after I told him
Okay.
that, I caught 20 last year.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, like up
And
here for our for the salmon, they uh they tag they put tags in some of them or chips or whatever, and you're supposed to report them at that size, and then they'll know. Somehow they know. I don't know. I guess you can find the chip when you clean the fish, because I think they put it somewhere in their head, and I guess you let them know what the number is or something. It's strange, but I've never heard of anybody reporting anything. So it's like, well, I don't know. I don't know where the chip is or whatever it is they use.
Right.
Well, you wouldn't be able. You'd have to have something to scan it.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to keep the head and bring it to the DNR or whatever. I was like, man, that is a lot of work. I ain't
Yeah,
got
it is.
nowhere. I mean, my 29 and a half or my 29 pounder I caught 2 years ago. Um, I ain't got nowhere to put a 29-pound salmon head. The head on that 29-pound salmon is huge.
Yeah, that's bigger than softball.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I told the survey guy, I said, hey, I caught a 29-inch or 29-pound salmon. I said, but I couldn't report. I didn't know it was optional to report it or not. Gave him all the measurements and everything. He was like, that'll work. He goes, you gave me the length, you gave me the weight. He goes, that's all I need to know. I'll let the office know.
Yeah. And that's what kind of sucks about uh, Indiana DNR. I mean, I took pictures of the tags on those those shovel-nose sturgeon, and I'm just
Mhm.
like, and DNR guys are just like, okay, here you go. I'm like, man, you tagged them for a reason,
Right.
and I love catching them, but be a little bit more enthusiastic, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't their division, so they probably didn't care.
Right.
Yeah, that was my guess. They were probably tagged up north.
Yeah. So, and last year, our salmon run, man, it was just like non existent.
Really?
Yeah. A buddy of mine, he went to Green Bay and he caught only six. And his smallest one he caught was about 20 inches.
Huh.
Biggest one he caught was maybe, I don't know, 28, 29 inches. So they were small
Yeah.
compared to the year before, where they were, man, you had the 3, 4 year olds that were running up river that were just monstrous.
Right.
So we're hoping this year the salmon run is better. If not, we got to wait another 2 to 3 years, and hopefully the salmon run will be good then.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
hoping it's good this year.
See, I thought salmon were saltwater fish.
Yeah, I did too, man, until I moved up here. But you got to think they run. They can go. They go from the ocean and run up river to spawn.
Right. Well, but we're so far inland. I mean, think about it. How far inland you got locks and dams?
Right. They got to
Yeah.
plant them in the Great Lakes, so
Yeah.
they just adapt to the fresh water. They just don't. They don't. They do the same. They got the same characteristics. It's just They don't go out into the ocean.
They don't develop the
Yeah.
saltwater lungs or
Yeah,
gills.
right. But they make the run up river every
Or
year.
or downstream, because that's what they do here is they run downstream off the Great Lakes, Lake Michigan.
Well, even the walleye do that here. Like they'll run into the river system to spawn.
Right. Like they don't spawn, the salmon don't spawn in the rivers. They just run up river to the dam way up river and they just die. They die off up there. By the time
Yeah.
they hit the dam, they're all black and yeah, not pretty to look at.
No.
Yeah.
And these guys, man, they come up here and they fish from way up there with fly rods and whatever, regular light tackle.
Yeah, because they're half dead.
Yeah,
You're just
that's why,
basically snagging them.
yep, pretty much. Like when the salmon run starts, we'll go, the part of the river we fish is the same area that we fish for burbot, pretty much. We'll fish from, there's a bridge that we fish from down towards the lake. So we're catching them where they're just coming in. So we sometimes do hook into some fresh salmon that haven't changed. They're still nice and silver. And man, when you hook into one of them, the fight is really on.
Oh yeah. Full of piss and vinegar.
Yep. I mean, the 30 and a half pounder I caught, man, he was the olive color. And I had to fight him still for a half an hour. So
Yeah,
they
I've
got a
heard
lot of fight in them.
basically if you catch a salmon, you might as well keep it because it's going to fight till its death
Yeah, yeah,
for the most part.
right. I mean, we do. There's a couple times if they looked healthy enough, we would release the males, but we kept the females because you can tell when the meat's still good, and we kept the females for their eggs because that's what we use for bait.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, you use row sacks, right?
Yep. We make the sacks and we just use the skein. Well, you got to carefully cut them open, and then you got two big skein, which is the eggs. You got two big sacks that you pull out,
Yeah.
and you got to bleed them right away. If you're gonna keep them, you got to bleed them right away. So you get, if not, it is it's a pain in the butt, man, trying to clean those eggs. So you got to bleed them as soon as you. If it's a female, we bleed her right then and there once we land her and get the hook out, just so the eggs are nice and clean. And then we you got to cure them and all that. So we just use borax, or we use boraxophyre, which changes the color of the eggs. And if we
Yeah.
want to keep it that natural color, we just use plain borax from the store.
Yeah, but don't sometimes changing the color helps it, right? Just like using any other bait, right?
Yeah. And then like you got no Duggar didn't catch no fish this weekend. Like we use the we buy different color the netting, the spawn sack netting,
Yeah.
we'll buy different colors. Like we'll use in our river system here, the Sheboygan River, it's muddy. So we'll use like the green and uh the neon green and the neon pink color. Then
Nice.
when we go to port, we'll use like the red and orange and white because it's clear. The water is clear down there. And then we just we'll use the skein without the netting. We'll just cut chunks of the eggs out, and then we'll put them on the hook. Well, behind the hook because we use the egg loop knot to hold it on there.
So, what you can catch about anything on that stuff, though, right?
Oh yeah, man! I've caught. One time I caught a nice. It was probably about a 12-pound carp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that thing, man, it was on a three-way rig, and so that carp was up in the water column. He
Yeah.
slammed that uh salmon roe because I was walking back. That was the last rod in the water, and I was walking back from the car, and my pole just laid over. It bent over. He slammed it so hard.
Yeah, that's what carp do.
Oh yeah, they're fun. I love catching carp.
Oh, you and me both.
I was looking actually into um getting all the gear for actually specifically targeting carp. Like the mats that they use.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I posted a picture, man. I joined a carp group and I posted a picture of carp just laying in the net. Boy, carp enthusiasts. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like, you should have a mat. I said it was catfish bait anyway. Oh yeah, that didn't make them happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And
that's just like me.
then
My picture has a grass carp,
Dobson. Yeah.
so and I caught that. You would not. There was a couple guys fishing down by me, a couple kids, and they're like, I hooked in that son of a gun. Woo! That was fun.
Yeah, I bet.
8-pound test on a Zebco special slingshot. So it's $20 rod and reel combo from Walmart. And they're just like in awe.
See, my first carp came on 65-pound test.
Oh,
JBT, email me.
It was hilarious. Like, but I had to thumb the spool because the drag wasn't. I mean, I was just using a cheap bait caster from Walmart. Like, I had to thumb the spool because he was just taking drag.
yeah.
Wow. JBT, he's just curious how much he should sell 3 Uncle Lou medium heavy casting rods for. He only used them twice.
What do you do? Get sponsored by someone else?
Uh, I know he's sponsored by a hook company, Nocturnal Nation, I believe it is.
I think so. Something like that.
What are you selling them for, JBT? Don't you like them? But yeah, just email me. Man, I should be getting my. I talked to my sponsor tonight. Actually, he messaged me on Facebook. He was like, "Can you send me your address again?" Like, because he sent me a picture. It said return to sender. He goes, I got the box back. So I gave him my address again. He goes, oh man, I messed up. I put your address in wrong. I was like, all right. He goes, I'm gonna get it out Monday. Like, cool. So this week it'll be like Christmas for me. Because
Heck yeah.
I ordered that, or not, I didn't order that. He's sending that box to me. I ordered the slide rigs I use, the Hawaiian slide rigs I use. I ordered
Right.
10, 10 of the weighted 1 ounce slide rigs for like cut bait and stuff. I ordered 10 of those. I ordered more of the stop rings. Uh, Plus I ordered a light off of Amazon, a battery. It's a Compex light, the cheapest one they had. But I mean, like I was saying last night, I ain't gonna pay an extra 30 to 40 bucks just to have a remote control for my light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the only difference I seen in it. And I paid like 46 bucks for that. And the battery I paid, I don't know, 24 bucks.
That ain't bad.
It's
No.
amazing on how much stuff, how expensive things get though. Like
Yeah.
when you're talking like not so much just to go fishing, but like when you try to get more gear to, you
Yep.
know,
Exactly.
Yeah, that's my thing. My external battery just died, so I've got to get a new one, and I just can't pull the trigger yet.
Yeah.
Looking, trying to find that right one.
I mean, the one I'm getting, the battery. Now, is that the battery you use for your lighting and stuff?
Yes, pretty much lighting slash also battery for my phone.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm looking for. I don't want do different ones.
Yeah,
I just want to keep it together.
because like the one I got, you can actually get a 2 pack for like, and it's a 12-volt battery. Like you'd put in just a small like ATV battery or whatever.
Right.
But it's a 12-volt. Seemed like a decent battery. I guess I'll find out tomorrow when it gets here.
you guys could
With all
always do what
the
Chunky does. Use a regular or a deep cycle battery and get an inverter.
Right.
yeah,
I thought about that, but there's not too many places I can take a wagon with me.
Yeah.
right.
It's just basically either backpack, 5-gallon bucket, and walk
You
a
can
couple
always
miles.
build one of those. Use one of those plastic ammo boxes like Hogleg built,
Oh yeah, I
and
didn't think about that.
he got that idea from
Fishing and
fishing
stuff.
and stuff. He
Yeah.
got that from Keith. I mean, it works, man.
I'd like to do one of the green light things that Keith showed.
Yeah, But I mean, yeah, so that's pretty much all I got I got stuff coming in tomorrow and the end of the week, probably. I almost pulled the trigger on a reel. Then I started thinking about it. Man, I got two reels I still need rods for. So I'm just waiting for Uncle Lou's rods to come in so I can get some of them. I need bait casters. Plus I'm getting another reel this weekend coming up. Probably Saturday. Getting that Penn Squaw 20, which is being gifted to me. So that'll give me I got three reels that I'll have just sitting around.
That's probably not a bad thing.
No. I mean, one of them that's sitting is I'm going to switch it out with my Penn Rival, but I'm going to put my Abu Garcia. I got the 5500 C3. I'm going to put that back on my Uncle Lou rod. I got to see why my Penn Rival is acting up. Because Friday, I was having a heck of a time, man. The clicker kept engaging and like, what is going on?
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, man, pins shouldn't do that.
Nope. I don't know what was going on. I was that and the handle. Now I see what everybody's talking about, but I always have the habit where I'll turn that handle to where it's all the way furthest point from engaging. I
Right.
wasn't doing that because I was thinking about trying to unengage the clicker. So that handle kept flipping, spinning back around and engaging. I was like, oh man, I look like a moron. I was slinging bait off. I was like, oh my God, man. Oh well, it's part of fishing. It'll happen.
Yeah, especially when you have something you haven't used before.
Yeah. Well, I've used that one and I never had a problem with it. It's
Really?
just, yeah, this outing, man, and I checked it like 2 days before and it was fine. I don't know if it was because of the cold that
Yeah,
it
you
was
went.
acting up. I was like, huh, well, I got to tear that thing apart, see why the clicker is acting up.
Yeah,
Probably the
because
spring or something.
yeah, because it wasn't really that cold. I mean,
No,
30s.
yeah, it was, yeah, it was like high 20s, low 30s. So, I mean, it was like, I don't know what was going on. I started getting frustrated too. I was like, man, oh well.
Yeah, I can
So,
understand that.
yeah. So, what's your plans this year for your channel, Nate?
Oh, you talking to me?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm kind of on the ropes. Um, it's kind of funny. My wife does TikTok with making cups. So, eh, I don't know yet. I just figured if I go live, I'll go live and kind
Right.
of just be in the background, show up occasionally, and with a live stream maybe. But Yeah, yeah. No big plans.
Yeah, same here.
I mean,
I'm just trying to target a state record this year. I'm gonna
man,
try, man. Only way to do it
oh,
is put the lines in the water.
yeah.
If it
What
happens, it
cracks?
happens.
I always forget Indiana started last year to where you could take pictures and measure
Uh-huh.
um, for like it's just whatever they're trying. And I'm like, oh my word. If I would have measured half the fish I had this year, they post you up and whatnot. But
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna look into see because man, it's being a bank fisherman especially kind
right.
of hard to keep a fish alive when you ain't got no live well.
And that's why I think quite a few states have started doing the picture, you know, picture CPR, I guess.
Yeah.
And Indiana started it a couple of years ago to where, you'd take a picture, but it would not count towards the state record.
Huh.
You would have to actually kill the fish.
Ah.
Still, old school.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, no wonder.
Man. I know that's why I'm gonna look into it and see how it is here. Because if they say that, it's like, oh well, get the measurements, get the girth, get a picture,
Right.
and if the weight comes out to whatever the weight is, if it is big enough, oh well.
I don't think I could kill a state record fish
No.
just for a piece of paper.
Nope.
Not even for just my picture in the yearly DNR pamphlet.
Yeah. Now,
That's my thing. I'm like, I caught, I could have, if I remembered, even the grass carp that's in my picture. I'm like, man, that could have been, like submitted and whatnot. And
right.
I'm just like, I just, let's just fish.
Now,
Have fun.
not this past December, the December before, year before last. My buddy went out. I couldn't go with him because my girlfriend wasn't doing too well, health issues. He went out and December, I don't know, 28th or something like that. The last few days of December, he went out and fished. Landed a tiger muskie.
Ho!
He took a pit. He landed this thing. He fought it until that thing was wore out. It was laying on his
Oh,
side.
yeah.
That's the only way he could get it in by himself. Took a picture, showed me the picture, and what was it? Last summer, we was looking at the state records because it was a tiger muskie he landed, and we
Right.
even showed some old timers the picture before. I was like, "Did you report that?" He was like, "No." Guy was like, "You might want to look that up." So one day at work last summer, he was looking it up. He started cussing. Like, what's going on? He goes, "Man, come look at this." I go over there. Wisconsin Tiger Muskie record was vacant. I looked at him. I looked at him and was like, how'd that state record taste?
I'm
He goes,
sure
it was good.
it was salty.
Huh?
I'm sure it was salty.
Oh, man. He couldn't believe when he seen the word vacant for Tiger Muskie in Wisconsin. And that thing, you could tell it just came in from it was hunting. That's what it was doing. It came in from the lake because it was clean. The colors were bright. That fish came in and just to hunt. And he got lucky and caught him.
Yep. That's all it takes is sometimes you get lucky. So I'm just
Yeah, Steve Loke, it is interesting.
yeah, next month I'm going to Pennsylvania for a couple weeks.
Really?
Yeah, wife's family, and so gonna see if I can go fishing somewhere.
Yeah.
Wife's not too happy, but I'm like, all right. Already Google mapped everything and was like, all right, where are we gonna go fishing?
Oh, man. Does anybody in her family fish?
um, no, not really. They're mostly my father-in-law is mostly a hunter,
Oh,
so when it comes to fishing, it's just like, all right, let's go.
boy, oh boy.
Yeah, he's most uh, in-laws are mostly hunters, but he has a nephew that shows interest in fishing. So
Fishing
Yeah,
is hunting. You're out there chasing.
oh yeah,
You gotta have patience. I mean, it's just the only
yeah.
difference is land and water.
yeah, and just like River Certified says, it's easier to ask for fishing permits than permission and hunting permission. So
That's for sure. Well,
I'm
most
just
people don't even know how to talk to people, so asking for permission is tough.
Yeah.
yeah.
You got to know who to talk to, who the landowner is, and all that.
Well, just not. I'm just not. Just in general, like they don't know how to approach a conversation
Yeah.
before they ask. They're just like, "Hey, can I fish here?"
Yeah.
They don't ask like, "Hey, my name is Chad," or "How are you
Whoever.
doing?" Blah 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 blah. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
that's
It's
the
a
like,
big thing.
conversation.
yep, that's one thing that's gone down the drain.
Like when I call my nephew, he's like, "Yeah." He doesn't say hello. I'm like, "You gotta be kidding me."
I know if I answered the phone like that, boy, I'd be in all kinds of trouble.
Yeah, right. If you called your mom or your dad or something, you'd be like, "Uh oh."
Yep.
Yeah, especially if you just say whoever and
Yeah. The
yeah,
communication has gone down the drain.
Yeah, they think it
yeah.
has to involve a text message.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they just.
Yes, I can't wait till it's not even the work week ain't even started. I'm ready for it to end.
Yeah, I hear you.
Now I know you work in a warehouse, Lance, but what kind of warehousing do you do?
I work in shipping and receiving. We deal with like uh paint chips is what we deal with for like
So
garage flooring and stuff.
yeah,
Oh,
so it's basically truckload stuff.
Yep,
Yeah,
truckload.
I've when I was working, I worked in a warehouse.
Yeah.
I was an outbound shipping coordinator.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I had
we do a lot of processing for because they do got for the smaller orders.
yeah
We process that and put
LTL.
it in, keep those on pallets and put that in the FedEx ground trailer and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Then later on in the day, you got your regular trucks that come in for their load.
yeah. We have like I worked in three different warehouses for the same company. The first one was spare parts distribution for Ducati motorcycles. The
Hmm.
second one was Gerber baby food,
Wow.
and then the third one was ABB, which is a circuit breaker company out of um, Italy.
Huh.
huh.
Yeah, and then we mess with like every once in a while we get international orders for like
Yeah,
Australia and stuff, which is funny. They order from us in the US because it's cheaper to have our product shipped over across the planet than it is to order product from the company that's right there in Australia.
uh, supply and demand. They
Yeah,
might only have one company over there in Australia that provides that service, and over here, you've got competition.
yeah.
Yeah, that's see, I deal with aluminum.
Mm-hmm.
The company I work for is actually kind of funny. It's a Chinese company, and we're the only company on the North America that does aluminum. So
Huh.
we make aluminum from scratch, from scrap aluminum, and send it out to everybody else.
Wow.
And aluminum is going through the roof right now with everything that's going on with Russia and
Yeah.
the European nations, and
Yeah.
so I make aluminum, and eh, it's not too bad.
Yeah. I mean, like where I'm working now, it ain't bad or anything. It's just right now, it's not even a busy season for us, and we've been like really busy.
Right. And that's kind of what I'm dealing with right now. Um, is just because we're located in the states, and they're just like the company's like, oh, we're gonna shoot for internal use only, and I'm not seeing it. We're having a lot of outsource.
Yeah. Like us, we're there, man. I don't know. Within the last week or two, they've hired so many people. Like, and they just had a new warehouse built, like right next to the one we're working in right now. And let's see, we've only started putting things in there 2 weeks ago, and it's already filled. And where we're at, it's filled with product.
Wow.
They, yeah, it's crazy, man. We're
Yeah.
like, where are we supposed to, just for our daily trucks that we get all week, that we get daily, where are we supposed to put the pallet? Everything is full. But just because we ain't got room, they ain't gonna stop production.
Right. Obviously, there has to be a demand for that much production.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there is. I mean, some of the truckloads, man, they come in and we're pushing out like, and what's bad is some of the orders sit there for weeks. The real big orders,
Yeah.
they sit there for like a week or two, 3 weeks. Like,
Wow,
well,
that eats up a lot of dock space right there.
yeah, because the big orders we're holding like 20 to 24 pallets, a full truckload.
Yeah.
So that takes up 2 to 3 lines, and that's a lot of space when you ain't got space to put stuff. And it's only going to get busier as we get closer to summer, so it's going to start getting interesting. Like we're having to do more at work that we usually don't have to do because everybody else is that busy. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed working. Out of all three of them, Gerber Baby Foods was probably the best or the smoothest running one that I worked at.
Really?
Yeah, because pallet in, pallet out is a lot less confusing than small parcel.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't seem that way, but yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
it's crazy how that works.
I mean, when Walmart's your biggest customer, we were probably shipping. I mean, obviously they've got tons of DCs around,
Yeah.
but anywhere from like 20 to 40 trucks a day to Walmart
Wow.
DC.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean it
we're
was
not pushing up that kind of product, but whew, it's a lot of truckload.
we probably averaged in and out like truckloads a day, probably over 100 trucks.
Man.
And we're only in a 500,000 square foot facility.
Yeah. Like you said, that's the supply and demand.
Well, what's funny is, and people would really be pissed. Like it's not this way now because Gerber got bought out by Nestle. So I'm sure everything's changed. But how we got most of the baby food from their plant was in Michigan, and how we got most of the food came down here in Budweiser trucks. Or
Huh.
yeah, because it was their backhaul home. Because we have a large brewery here in Columbus,
Right.
and they would ship up there, and then they'd bring the baby food back.
Jeez.
That way, it was paying for and it was cheap because they were already sending a truck that way. So
Right.
basically, they were just paying fuel surcharges.
Yeah.
And then they would send a yard driver in, later in that week and start picking up trailers from the weekend or whatever. Because we were a 7-day operation.
Oh, okay.
24/7.
Yeah. That's a lot of product to push out.
Plus, we had a repack area where they would make like like the mixed like mixed products for like Sam's Club and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We had a repack area for that, so I mean that was a whole different line that we had there of baby food. And then I mean obviously there was LTL orders and stuff
Yeah.
like that, but for like Dollar Generals and stuff, because they'd never won a full truckload.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it was easy. I mean, it was stressful at times, but
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, as long as we had the product and we had the trucks arriving on time, it was easy.
Right.
Now, when they had a recall or something, that's where it got really, things that because we'd have to unload trucks, unstack pallets, just a
Yeah.
really time consuming.
Right. And that's
But,
all extra work too, really.
oh, yeah. Then if we had forklifts go down, equipment failures and stuff, that
Yeah.
ended because we had electric because of it being food. We had electric
Right.
uh, tow
Yeah,
motors in there.
we got a few of the electric forklifts.
Yeah, you
My
burn the
buddy,
bushings out in the motors pretty easy,
yeah. Well, the
especially
one,
with the weight of baby food.
yeah, his the forklift he uses, what they're having a problem with is it's blowing the fuses.
I can believe that.
And they changed a fuse out like a month ago, and last week a fuse, and those fuses aren't cheap. It's like,
No.
man,
Well, you got to think anything industrial costs more.
yeah. So I mean, his forklift was down for like 2 days. So I was on the forklift, but I drove the propane forklift. And it's like, man, it's just insane.
Yep.
But he liked the electric ones because it's not as noisy as the propane.
Oh, that's for sure. But I mean, there's trade offs to everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, like when we got into like I think they were like 4-ounce jars of baby food. One
Mm-hmm.
pallet alone was over a ton.
Wow.
Like we could only fit 13 pallets on a truck, and it would be a full truckload weight wise.
Jeez.
Yeah, so it was like 47,000 pounds.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it would burn, like if we would try to pick up 2 of the pallets at a time on those, it would just start burning the motors up in the
Mhm.
forklifts, let alone breaking skids.
Right.
But we used a lot of the Chet pallets most of the time.
Okay.
Those things are heavy.
Yeah, they are.
They're like 52 pounds a piece.
Yeah. They're not light. But I'm gonna go ahead and end it. So, because Hogleg's gonna start in about 12 minutes.
All right.
But thanks for coming up. What,
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Polar Bear?
See
Yeah,
ya.
JBT, you can actually hit me up on Messenger on Facebook, man, about them. I'll talk to you about those. Yeah, the Big Cat Fever, that's some good rods. I never had the Hellcats, but so thanks to everybody coming in. Go ahead and end it because Hogleg is coming on in about 12 minutes. So if you guys want, you guys can head over there and get ready for the boar's nest. Yeah, see everybody around. Have a good night.